In the Jiangsu province of eastern China, the water is usually calm. It is a place of mud, silt, and routine commerce. But on a Tuesday morning, a routine dredging crew hit something that defied the geological record. They were digging for clay. Instead, their excavators struck a structure so massive, so heavily reinforced, and so deliberately concealed that it stopped the project instantly. It wasn't a rock. It wasn't a pipe, it was a roof. Within hours, the site was locked down. Satellite feeds were allegedly diverted. What lay beneath the river wasn't just a forgotten bunker, it was a loose thread in a tapestry that stretches across the entire nation. From mountains that vanish overnight to cities humming beneath the asphalt, we're peeling back the layers of the most ambitious engineering anomaly in human history. China is building a second world, and it is hiding it directly beneath our feet. The impact shook the operator's cabin. When the foreman ordered the crew to clear the silt, they didn't find the jagged edge of a natural stone. They found a seam, a perfectly flat, manufactured slab of high-density concrete sloping downward into the darkness. Ground-penetrating radar confirmed the impossible. A hollow cavity existed below the riverbed. Not a drainage pipe, but a corridor. Local archives were consulted. Nothing. Military registers from the Cold War. Empty. City planning maps. Blank. According to every official record, this object did not exist. Yet, there it was. Hundreds of feet of reinforced infrastructure, perfectly aligned with two districts on opposite banks. It was a ghost tunnel. But to understand why it was there, we have to look away from the river and toward the sky. Because in China, geography is no longer a constraint. It is merely a suggestion. Hundreds of miles away, in Guizhou province, a mountain that had stood for millions of years simply ceased to be. For generations, the limestone peaks here were considered untouchable guardians of the valleys, but to the architects of China's modern infrastructure, a mountain is just an inefficiency. It is an obstacle to the straight line of a high-speed rail. When locals noticed the skyline changing, they assumed it was a landslide. It wasn't. It was a demolition. State engineers didn't go around the mountain. They went through it and then removed what was left. Millions of cubic tons of rock were pulverized, processed, and repurposed into the foundations of new highways. This is topographical erasure. It is a statement of absolute power. If a nation can erase a mountain to save 10 minutes of travel time, what stops them from carving a civilization out of the earth itself? To see how deep this ambition goes, you must look to the Yangtze. For centuries, this river was an untamable barrier. Today, it hides a secret artery. Engineers here didn't just dig a tunnel, they sank one. Utilizing the immersed tube method, they constructed cathedral-sized concrete segments on land, each the length of a football field, and floated them onto the volatile river. With surgical precision, they lowered these monoliths into a trench carved at the bottom of the river, sealing them against the crushing weight of the water above. Inside, it is a marvel of survival engineering. Earthquake-resistant joints, ventilation systems capable of scrubbing air for thousands of people. Today, bullet trains scream through these tubes at 200 miles per hour, while cargo trucks run in parallel lanes. But look closer. These aren't just transport tunnels. They are hardened shells. They are designed to survive everything. And they were the prototype for something much larger.
While the world focuses on the skyscrapers of Shanghai and Beijing, a shadow city has grown beneath them. This started in the Cold War, crude fallout shelters ordered by Mao Zedong, damp, dark, and desperate. But in the last 20 years, those primitive bunkers have been retrofitted and expanded into a high-tech subterranean lattice. In Guangzhou, you can walk for miles without ever seeing the sun. You aren't just in a subway station, you are in a self-sufficient ecosystem. Logistics hubs, data centers, automated warehouses, and power substations, all buried. In Shenzhen, an AI-controlled hidden ocean manages floodwaters, redirecting millions of gallons through automated sluice gates in seconds. In Chongqing, the concrete monster, a fully underground industrial plant, mixes and pumps construction materials through miles of hidden pipes, untouched by weather or traffic. This is strategic redundancy. If the surface world burns, floods, or stops, the world below keeps working. But there are places where the maps stop making sense. Independent analysts call them the silent zones, remote regions in Gansu and Qinghai, where roads end abruptly at the base of mountains, where satellite imagery shows heat signatures consistent with massive industrial venting, yet no factories are visible. Commercial radars pick up absorption patterns, the signature of reinforced underground megastructures. This brings us back to that inexplicable discovery in the riverbed. When researchers analyzed the trajectory of that ghost tunnel in Jiangsu, they realized it wasn't a leftover from the past. The concrete was high-grade. The ventilation was active. Workers who peered into the breach didn't see a ruin. They saw rusted but functional rail tracks. They saw sealed pressure doors. They saw the faint hum of a standby power grid. They hadn't found a tomb. They had accidentally punctured a vein of the silent zones. The tunnel was quickly resealed. The dredging project was officially completed. But the revelation cannot be buried. The evidence suggests that China is no longer just building on the land. They are building inside it, a parallel network of transit, logistics, and survival that renders the surface irrelevant. As geopolitical tensions rise and the climate becomes more volatile, the ultimate power isn't the one with the tallest tower. It's the one that can vanish from the surface, close the blast doors, and continue to thrive in the dark. The question isn't what they found in the river. The question is, how far down does it go?